Hi, and welcome to our discussion of the Stage 24 about the Language 2 review on cum and the imperfect subjunctive. Now, we learned in about the Language 1 that the conjunction cum, meaning when, introduces a subordinate clause, a dependent clause that has its verb in the subjunctive mood. And in about the Language 1, we talked about cum clauses that have the pluperfect subjunctive. But today we're going to talk about cum clauses that take the imperfect subjunctive. And we're going to start, though, with a review of the imperfect indicative, which we've been doing for a long time. Now remember, the imperfect indicative we translate was or were blanking or used to blank. And to form the imperfect indicative, we take the stem from the second principal part and add a tense sign, ba, and the usual personal endings, mst, mustis, nt. So portabam, portabas, portabat, portabamus, portabatus, portabant for the first conjugation. Now for the second conjugation, it's the same bom, bos, bot endings, but it's dokebam. For the second conjugation, you have a long E here. For the third conjugation, you also have a long E. The short E that's indicative usually of the third conjugation gets lengthened here. And the fourth conjugation, instead of the usual long I, you have I long E, audievam. Okay? Other than this vowel here, though, the imperfect indicative is pretty easy. It all uses that bom, bos, bot, bomus, botus, bont ending. The imperfect subjunctive is even easier. Again, take the second principal part, lengthen the final E, and add the personal endings. So portaret, portarent. Okay, third person singular, portaret, third person plural, portarent. So there you see that second principal part. Now, normally we're going to lengthen that final E, but remember final T and NT shorten it, so you're not going to see the lengthening here. Okay, so portaret, doceret, traharet, audiret. Okay, just take that second principal part, okay, whatever it is, lengthen the final E and add personal endings. So let's look at a couple of examples here. Cum puella equos pulcherimus spectaret, laetissima erat. When the girl was looking at the very beautiful horses, she was very happy. There's the cum clause. Okay, there's our imperfect subjunctive. And here's the main clause, and it happens to have an imperfect indicative. Now another example, cum hospites in aula sederent, servi eis cibum vinum quae obtulerunt. When the guests were sitting in the palace, the slaves offered food and wine to them. Okay, there's our imperfect subjunctive, sederent. And in the main clause here, we happen to have a perfect indicative.